Hey guys, good morning. Uh, this is a very early trade recap because yesterday I said it on TikTok I was gonna film a trade recap, but I ended up not getting to it. So I'm literally using my morning time to film the recap because I'm not gonna cap you guys out what I did yesterday. So yeah, it just turned 8 o'clock. I was planning to record this at like 7:50, but it just turned 8 o'clock, as you guys can see. But yesterday we ended up taking three trades. Kind of not gonna lie, the third one was kind of unnecessary, but I liked it. It was like literally like a 30-second scalp. Um, First trade was a loss, and that trade resulted in me just rushing. To be honest, it wasn't a trade I had like properly even like waited for. I woke up at 9:50, so like at the macro. So I woke up late for one because I snoozed my alarm instead of getting up. So and I don't usually like snooze my alarm. Like as soon as I hear my alarm, I usually get up. So I snoozed my 7 a.m. alarm and I woke up at 9:50, and I was like, oh my god. So I rushed out of bed, looked at the charts. I thought we were in a good long setup, but unfortunately I got caught in the manipulation yet again on Nasdaq, and I got stopped out literally like 2 minutes later. And I'm like, damn, why did I even like rush a trade when I should have just been patient? And then what you call it? And then the second trade was like 5 minutes after I got stopped out. Um, and that trade was a break-even trade, literally for the only reason of I don't know. I was having like I'm still low-key confused on like what a sell stop is, buy stop, like all of that, because it wasn't on that on paper trading. So I need to like configure myself with this new terminal, not new terminology, but really just get used to it. And then on top of that, the last trade was like low key a win, but it was like it didn't make back the profits that I lost. So I still ended up in an L day despite that little scalp. But I mean it's all good, to be honest. I'm fully up and early. I'm not really stressing, and these are the trades from yesterday. Um, this is not the trade that I took yesterday on Nasdaq. This was part of the scalp trade. But yeah, let's get on into it. Oh wait, no, this is not even the trade at all. Unfortunately, I can't show my executions because apparently on fundeds they literally like leave after like next day. So like this is legit. Like apply to all. I would click on the trade of it, but that's gonna leak my account number, and I've been told not to do that. So that's unfortunate. But I guess hopefully you guys believe me because I'm not lying. But yeah, so first trade of the day. Um this was on Nasdaq. Let me show you guys my loss. Cuz I longed for my first trade and I ended up getting stopped out. I remember exactly where I longed. Right here. I remember this so vividly. This is exactly where I longed. And I know exactly what my mistake was. So this is exactly where I literally longed, right here off this candle, off this gap candle. Um, for me, I thought this was a perfect change in the state plus for value gap entry. Unfortunately, now looking back at it, we did not um inverse any gaps. But let me take you guys like the backstory of why I thought this trade was good. Although it was a forced trade, I'm gonna take you guys on why I thought this trade was good and why it was bad when I got stopped out. For one, starters, we were respecting this 5 minute gap off market open. So this was like around 9:50, like I said, because I woke up late. Um, I didn't have a set bias because, like I said, I literally just woke up late, so I just marked out all my key levels, and I was like, okay, I'm gonna be coming in with no bias, and I'm just gonna literally just take what I see, right? Should be bad. Obviously, it's good to come in with no bias, let the market form a little bit, but literally just taking what you see can end up in bad results if you're just rushing what you see. You know what I mean? So with that being said, for one, we did not flip this gap. However, we did on ES, which led me to believe that we were going to flip this gap on NASDAQ. Unfortunately, this was just going to create a nice internal SMT inside the gap, which was going to lead us lower to take out Asian session lows, London lows, and Fed lows. And looking back at it, Asia price action. Let's get Asia, and then let's get London. Asian price action, we really didn't do much besides literally just um continue up in the range. So I would assume we probably had like a high time frame gap. Like I said, I didn't look at anything at all. And what do you know? We had a high time frame gap that barely got filled that we ended up targeting. See, that's kind of crazy. If I didn't even look at the I didn't even look at the high time frame. I'm going to be completely honest with you guys. I didn't look at the high time frame at all, or else that first trade would have been avoided. But that's pretty unfortunate. Wow. Okay. But as you can see, there was more prominent lows on Asia, just more stacked lows on the previous sessions on bearish time frames than we had bullish time frames. We really only had one prominent well, two prominent highs, which was London session and well, London session slash New York. But besides that, so first trade was a bust because one, we weren't bullish at all. I took this completely bearish. We did not break 5 minute structure. We did not have a 5 minute change in state. We did not even flip the 5 minute PD array, which one was the first mistake, because if we were truly bullish up to these highs, we were gonna flip this PD array and then probably have a retrace and then continue higher to these highs. That was my first mistake. And then with that being said, I ended up getting stopped out literally like a couple minutes later. I'm not going to lie. I ended up getting stopped out, and then from there, I was like, damn, okay, let me like reevaluate and wake myself up and let's see what we got. And literally as soon as we flip this gap, like as soon as we like continue to respect this gap on ES, we ended up flipping this gap because we ended up creating an internal SMT inside the 5 minute PD array. That's another thing I failed to notice. Um, yeah, okay. Wow, another thing I failed to notice. I thought this was an SMT right here. This low, then a higher low. Unfortunately, I just saw that we made that over here, so that was pretty unfortunate. Um, Dang. Wow, that's actually very unfortunate. Wow. Wow. Okay. So that wasn't even there. Wow, I really just screwed myself over with a dumb trade. Anyways, we ended up creating this internal SMT. From there, we ended up flipping this 5 minute PD array. And from there, another entry model presented itself literally 3 minutes later on ES, and I ended up taking it. Um, my fill was not. My fill was like right here. If I'm gonna be completely honest, my fill was like right here. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Because I got stopped at break even. I remember this so vividly. So literally the exact same thing that I always look for. And on top of that, we inverse the 5 minute PD array. So on top of that, that was even like more confirmation for me. Um, but yeah, so we ended up literally flipping bullish structure. How did we do that? We ended up changing the state literally from this all the way from this high right here. So boom, this was our change in state. Honestly, or this whole like manipulation leg up could have counted as a change in state because boom, we low-key broke it right here just a little bit, and then on top of that we also came up into the gap, and then from there that is when I entered right here on this next candle. So but yeah, you can either count this whole thing as the manipulation leg up, or you can count this as change of state. I usually count this as change of state because it's by two candle closures before we had that whole like bearish move or bullish move, depending either or. So on top of that, we had our 5 minute PD array supporting this, and then we had our 1 minute entry model present itself. So boom, one higher time frame narrative, lower time frame narrative, boom, confirmation, perfect. I entered right here on ES, not Nasdaq, because I literally thought we edged this gap, which was kind of retarded on me. I'm not gonna lie. I genuinely thought we edged this in the moment. Again, I wasn't thinking right, so this trade as well could have honest technically be considered as forced as well. But I saw that we perfectly tapped into the sensitivity, and then we ended up coming out, closing all the way down here with a low close. So I was like, okay, that's literally perfect with me. That's what I like to see. That's perfect. So then I entered, literally targeted Asia lows on ES, and then from there we ended up tapping London lows. Oh no, we ended up tapping Asia lows again, and we ended up clearing out all of the sell side liquidity as well. And today was not today, and I only went in with one contract. Hence, if I had went in with two, I would have honestly trimmed right here, or honestly, I would have went break even because this is not even a risk to reward that I even like. Um, I would have went break even at the 1R and then just left it for to just to continue. But to be completely honest with you guys, like so freaking honest. I only went in with one contract, and then on top of that, I didn't set like my take profit or freaking or stop loss. So it was literally just a manual one because I was so confused on what my limit order and sell stop meant again. And I was like, bro, this is so annoying because I was actually like, I was low-key getting frustrated with the fact that like my trade was like reversing, and also with the fact that like, what if I like misclick and I like go all the way in drawdown and literally just screw myself up even more. You know what I mean? So I was really just manually clicking. As soon as we hit my break even, I literally clicked break even, and then the trade ended up going back in my direction again, which was kind of insane. I didn't really get upset at that. I was like, you know what, I'm perfectly fine with that. You know, just because um what do we call it? Just because I'd rather that than going into men's drawdown because I made a dumb mistake. You know what I mean? So I'd rather just play safe than sorry. And then now realizing what the drawdown was literally us tapping into this 5 minute PD rate and then rejecting off of that and then continuing to go hit sell side all the way down at the last Asia low. Obviously we didn't hit that until we hit a huge reversal, but on but on Nasdaq we ended up hitting all these Asia lows. But yeah, so that's the trade that I lost. That's a trade that I won. Not that's a trade that I lost. A trade I went break even on, and then the trade where I hit a quick scalp was literally this right here. I remember this so freaking vividly. Um, this was honestly supported by complete nothing. If I'm gonna be honest with you, it was literally just supported by a little change in state plus reversal. This was my mini trade right here. Um, it was literally right here. Only thing I really wanted was all of this sell side. So all of these stacked highs. Again, this wasn't a really good RR, and kind of you could say that it broke my rules just a little tiny bit, and that's something I won't do again. But I ended up not losing. To be honest, like I stopped out like right here. Like I ended up closing my position right here. All I wanted was just all of these stacked sell side, like all of these like failure swings right here. Um, this was literally just beautiful. I just liked all these stacked lows right here, and I was like, okay, we need to take these out before we continue higher, because there's just no way we would leave those set stacked highs, right? Like that was going on in my mind, so I was like, there's just no way in the world, right? So yeah, that was pretty much it. And then after that, I was just done for the day. Obviously, we didn't end up in profit. We still ended up in an L day because that was only like what, I don't even know how much in profit, like 300. Mind you, I lost 500, and mind you, I went break even on a trade that honestly could have been like up. So lessons learned for yesterday, we could have honestly been in profit if I had managed if I literally learned how to set my stop loss and take profit correctly. So that, and if I went in with more cons, that was pretty unfortunate with me. I usually went in with one contract. I needed to start to go in with more because I was actually certain on the bearish draw. But yeah, yesterday definitely could have ended out in profit, but just due to me not knowing my stuff, I ended up getting stopped out early before price ended up going and hitting my take profits. But it's all good. Um, this trade was kind of retarded. Literally, this trade only would have been valid, and I mean only would have been valid if we officially flipped the PD array, like how we flipped it right here. But honestly, we didn't have any retrace, so that was just kind of crazy. But like if we flipped it, damn, we just don't continue. Okay, yesterday was just a bearish day, bro. Damn, that's kind of unfortunate. I was gonna say like if we like I was trying to give a good example of like flipping it, but like the 5 minute is looking like freaking booty. But it's not really. Price action wasn't even that bad to be honest. Like yeah, it's definitely a CVS barcode, but it's definitely readable in my opinion. I don't know. Like it definitely it's teaching me to be more patient, obviously, but I don't know, it's definitely readable. But I was gonna say like for example like flipping this whole PD array, like we flipped it right here for like a limited time, but like you see right here as like we flipped it and then we came down and retraced into this little gap and then we continued up higher just for a little bit. That's how we would have been bullish in this scenario right here if we completely flipped it. Because then if we flipped it and I enter like somehow over here, we still have this high to even we still have this high to target. So that's mistake. Like that's the main mistake right there, was just literally just waiting. Like obviously we had our 5 minute rejection, our 5 minute PD rate being respected, so I don't know why I went against the trend. You know, they always say the trend is your friend. But I mean yeah, that's pretty much it of the trade recap. I'm literally going to go take a shit, and I'm also going to read my book. Um this is a pretty good book right now. Think and Grow Rich. Yeah, it's one of those like stereotypical, like oh yeah, like one of those common books. But I'm not going to lie. In the first three chapters alone, I'm on the fourth one. Well, no, I'm still on the third one. But in the first three chapters alone, there is crazy value that actually you can implement in your life, which makes you see things a whole perspective different, especially with trading. But yeah, after this, I do wanna read some trading books. I also keep wanting reading some finance books. I do like the finance books just because I don't know, it's a lot of sauce that a lot of people tend to overlook. But yeah, that's pretty much it. I'm gonna see you guys literally in like 2 hours for the next trade recap. I love you guys so much. I hope you guys enjoyed this. Learn from my mistakes because I'm definitely not gonna make these mistakes anymore again. I'm fully awake. I'm fully wired. I'm fully dialed. I'm gonna be here, locked in, music, water, looking at the charts, emotionless, just taking my shit, bro. We're going back on my June shit, man. It's okay. It was time for a loss. We went June almost undefeated. And it's okay. Honestly, coincidentally, we're still up on the funded because, like I said, the first 2 days of me getting it funded, I risked hella. So I'm still up, like what? I think I'm almost like 500. I was up from the first 2 days. I was up like a band and like 300. Now I'm only up like 500, like 500 or like 200. But but yeah, I'm not really tripping to be honest. Like I said, it's fake money, and it's time that we start cooking again. You know, it was gonna be time that we're gonna be wrong anyways, and I was gonna like force a trade. But yeah, I'm not gonna let my ego get to me. I love you guys so much. See you guys in the next video later today. Give me a kiss. Mwah. Peace.